not very good with Trump. I don't know, Saber. It's not good. It's not great. You guys should say thank you for saving you all the time. I saved you so much time. When did we start accepting toddlers as world leaders?
Thank you once. This entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you?
Then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute. 1 minute, is there a way we can do something like that? Injection inside or...
I mean, seriously, where did all the grown-ups go? And when did the bar drop so low that whining...
I'd like to know, Anderson, why aren't you bringing up the emails? I'd like to know, why aren't you? She's allowed to do that, but I'm not allowed to.
I'd like to move on to an online question.
She just went about 25 seconds over her time.
Disrespecting others.
Mock a reporter with a disability.
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
And making childlike imaginary promises become qualification for office.
UKIP has a plan, and we will do that by leading the charge and making the argument for a low-tax revolution.
Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall. We're going to build the wall. We have no choice. We have no choice.
And I'll tell you when this thing hit me and why I thought it was worth an episode. I was watching footage from the Cuban Missile Crisis and Kennedy and Khrushchev. Two men on the path of total collision and the literal ending of the world as we know it. Their generals screaming, "Nuke them first." And every sign, every data point said, if you do not nuke them, you will be the one to end up with a big mushroom in your backyard first. And what did they do? No television rants, no performative rage or populist promises, and definitely no tweets. Thank God. They simply picked up the phone and had a conversation. Just two grown-ups talking, that's all. And they figured it all out before they vaporized the planet. And it worked towards a much better world. Now fast forward to today. Watch any G7 meeting, any UN summit, any Oval Office sit down. Oh Jesus, Oval Office sit down. Did you see that one? Oh, goodness, don't get me started on that.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah, you just said
without
it's effective.
a wall, these are only areas where you have the wall.
Anyway, so what do we see now? Nothing but a bunch of overgrown schoolboys in suits, more concerned about their Twitter likes than actual leadership. Now, since when has disrespect become such a necessary trait? Mocking others is what actually works. And since when did leaders forget the most important part of the job? To be a role model. There was a time, not so far ago, where politicians were fully aware of that and carried enough decency to apply it. Remember when John McCain shut down a woman that wanted to insult Obama?
No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen.
Bush, in the midst of all the disagreement with the Democrats, saluted Pelosi's achievements. Or even Mitt Romney, and in the middle of a presidential debate, in the most adversarial of stages, in what would have decided his political future, managed to find the time to show Obama the respect and the integrity of a great man.
And congratulations to you, Mr. President, on your anniversary. I'm sure this was the most romantic place you could imagine, here with me.
Now we've got these, what do you call them? I don't even know. Men, children, social media trolls with nuclear codes. It's just embarrassing. Where did all the leaders go? And more importantly, whose fault is it? Let's take one issue that's become global, mass migration, something scientists predicted decades ago, whether it's Africans coming to Europe or Latin Americans going to Northern America. Tensions are mounting and the conversation is less and less reasonable.
Ça va être affreux, ça va être la folie. C'est presque 1 million d'étrangers qui vont entrer en 5 ans.
And if people feel that voting doesn't change anything, then violence is the next step.
Residents of this neighbourhood of Treviso in the north of Italy are angry that migrants are moving into empty apartments nearby. These people are frauds. They're North Africans, Senegalese and Congolese.
And in the age of social media, everyone has a voice. But while leaders should address such issues with composure, planning, and mostly long-term, real yet difficult solutions, algorithms seems to reward simplistic anger. It's more engaging to keep people on the platforms. So if you're a wise man offering real solutions, your wisdom might get drowned in the noise. And the algorithms, they don't want to hear it. And you're probably going to be deemed irrelevant. And that's where the populists see the gold rush. The angrier they are, the more they are rewarded. People aren't looking for the wisest man among us anymore. They're looking for affirmation, someone to mirror their frustration in the simplest, loudest way possible. No one is interested in solutions anymore. Just give me that rage.
Pagare il tuo stipendio milionario dai francesi invece di pretendere che ti venga pagato con i soldi del canone della RAI. La capitale d'Italia è Roma! Roma! È Roma la capitale d'Italia!
And that's how urgent problems like inflation, crumbling infrastructure, healthcare get turned into opportunities to score points. Instead of boring, long-term, real policies, we get demonization. Instead of solving, we worsen the problems. And whoever shouts the loudest becomes the savior. As for their solution, well, they usually sound too easy and come wrapped up in shiny messiah promises. They often sound too good to be true, and usually it's because they are. Take Brexit, for example. We're taking back control of our country. Our collective fortune is going away, and we're paying too much for the EU. Never mind is actually none of that is true. But what happened after? Fewer jobs, less investment, and weaker economy. Same with the Trump tariffs, by the way. We're bringing factories back. Reality, higher prices, and the same old outsourcing offshores. Nothing changes. And I know you want me to talk about the wall, but I'm not going to do that.
Build that wall! Build that wall! Build that wall!
But even Meloni's migrants crackdown, we're stopping the boats, she says. Except the problem doesn't really go away. She's shoving it under the rug of Tunisia. And the situation will backfire one way or another, because that has always been the pattern. But social media wouldn't have such an easy time spreading these stuff if it weren't for one thing: the absolute collapse of education worldwide. In a democracy, less educated people means by default worse leaders. Outside of a few Scandinavian experiences and some European countries, our schools are still stuck in teaching subjects and cannot adapt. Important, yes, but in these times, it's not enough. We're missing key skills, strategical thinking, so you're not just a sheep led by the loudest of voices. Critical thinking, so you can spot the lies and the fake promises. Discernment, so you see past the charisma and the buzzwords to the truth of someone's character. Schools are also giving up on collective values, the one opportunity and the one place where you can build solidarity among the seeds of society and its future citizens. Now say whatever you want about China, but they do teach discipline, long-term thinking, and collective excellence. Meanwhile, the West is abandoning the very things that make democracy work. And here's the scary part. Without good, accessible education, democracy inevitably falls. You cannot campaign against a populist demagogue riding a mass wave of ignorance. For by the time the masses are too uneducated, it's probably already too late. And rebuilding means going through the very worst before anything gets better. How do I know? History.
Ich führe mich ein, so wie ich für dich eingetreten bin.
Our leaders should be a reflection of how high we can aim and a chance to bring the best in each other and our societies, and to put our countries on their track to their best potential. And the leaders of those times should be the visionaries, the ones that unite instead of divide, bring the best in people instead of the worst, ones that inspire, not intimidate. They are the ones that take us to the next stage of a human civilization. But when we're left with those playing to the strings of algorithms and the populist opinions out there to what gets the most of likes, shares, and comments, you're no longer talking about leaders. You're no longer even talking about adults. You're talking about whiny teenagers being led by a bunch of algorithms. So where did all the grown-ups go? We stopped demanding them. And until we start again, we'll keep getting rulers, not leaders.